Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or event you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Monday at noon and is uploaded to our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, so you can watch it on demand. Today is December 10th, 2018, and now the news at noon.
According to the Cortez Journal, Robert Marquez, a wanted violent felon known to sell and abuse drugs, led Montezuma County Sheriff's Office personnel on a 25-mile car chase reaching speeds of 105 miles per hour on November 29th. A deputy and detective pursued Marquez, age 37, eastbound from a home on the 20,000 block of County Road N, northbound on County Roads 29 and 30, and then eastbound on Colorado Highway 184, ending on East Sunset Drive in Mancos, where Marquez was apprehended. He faces 5 felony charges. Sheriff Steve Nowlin said no one was injured during the chase. With 2 emergency vehicles behind him, Marquez drove at speeds between 70 and 90 miles per hour and ran several stop signs on county roads, and then increased his speed to 105 miles per hour on Colorado Highway 184 from Dolores to Mancos. He drove on the wrong side of the road at times, a deputy report said. According to the sheriff's office incident report, a department-wide email was sent out to staff earlier on November 29th, informing all officers that Marquez was known to be in Cortez. Nowlin said deputies had received tips from residents regarding Marquez's arrival in Cortez. Marquez had an active felony warrant for parole violation in El Paso County. He was known to have violent tendencies, according to the incident report, and deputies believed he might have been armed and wearing body armor. Marquez was also believed to be a member of the SUR-13 gang, loosely affiliated groups that pay tribute to the Mexican mafia while in prison.
From the Durango Herald, Herald file photos. The jury trial that was to take place in February for Mark Redwine, the Vallecito man charged with killing his 13-year-old son, Dylan, has been vacated and will be rescheduled at a later date, giving lawyers more time to prepare their cases. Chief District Judge Jeffrey Wilson said it could take weeks before he rules on the dozens of motions argued this week in the case against Redwine. Those motions include one to move the trial to a different judicial district and several seeking to suppress evidence. Lawyers spent dozens of hours this week in 6 judicial districts court arguing about how law enforcement obtained evidence and what pieces of that evidence should be permitted at trial. Defense lawyers made a case in closed court Friday for why they think the trial should be moved to a different judicial district, likely arguing that significant media coverage and other factors make it impossible for their client to receive a fair trial in La Plata County. Lawyers can request what is called a, quote, change of venue if they believe a jury pool may be negatively influenced by pretrial publicity. The evidence in dispute includes statements Redwine made to law enforcement, the findings of a cadaver dog trained to sniff human remains, and media coverage that included local, state, national, and international stories about Dylan's disappearance and murder, including a 2-part episode on Dr. Phil, among other issues. Wilson said he would rule at a later date whether jurors will be allowed to watch the Dr. Phil shows in which Redwine, his ex-wife Elaine Hatfield Hall, and their son Corey Redwine appeared on the show. While Wilson hinted at times how he would rule on certain issues, he said he has at least 60 hours of recordings to review before he could rule on the motions. Those recordings include videotaped interviews at the La Plata County Sheriff's Office, recordings made by law enforcement in casual conversations with Redwine, and recordings of informal conversations at Redwine's residence. The 4-week trial has not yet been rescheduled. A new trial date is likely to be determined early next year. Wilson and lawyers agreed Friday the trial may be in June or July.
Reported by the Cortez Journal with a picture of Derek Jim. When an improperly installed wood stove caused a fire at a mobile home on County Road 25 in early November, Montezuma County resident Derek Jim carried a burned woman out of the structure. Then he went to jail. Jim, age 31, said he was having a cookout with friends on November 7th when he noticed the flames. At first he thought trees were on fire, then realized it was a neighbor's mobile home. When he opened the door to the mobile home, he said he saw thick black smoke near the ceiling and the glow of flames below. The rush of air in the mobile home kicked up the flames, he said, and the woman lying on the couch began to moan. Jim said he pulled his shirt up over his face, picked her up, and carried her out of the burning home. He said he had told his friends to shut off the propane, but they didn't know how, so he turned it off after carrying the woman out. She was lying on the couch with a blanket when the fire started and had burns on her hands and face. In an interview with the Journal outside Montezuma County Combined Courts on November 29th, Jim said he didn't know what the warrant was for at the time. He said he had been to all of his court dates. The warrant wasn't for missing a court date, however. It was for allegedly dropping a 0.5-gram bag of cocaine in courtroom number 2 at Montezuma County Combined Courts on the morning of October 11th, according to an affidavit for issuance of an arrest warrant filed in Montezuma County Court on October 15th.
Fiber optics in Cortez. From the Journal, photo Jerry McBride. 5 years after starting its quest for citywide broadband internet, Cortez is looking to private companies for help and is receiving unclear signals from the federal government. Broadband access has been a problem across rural America for years now, and it affects how towns operate. How not having broadband impacts communities and citizens is much wider ranging than most people think, said Miriam Gillow-Miles, Executive Director of Southwest Colorado Council of Governments, or the COG. We think of broadband like, oh, I want to do email, I want to watch Netflix, things like that. But it is also access to education, it's access to workforce, it is access to the justice system in a lot of ways, end quote. Without fast internet access, economic development might stall. Cortez City Manager John Doherty compared internet expansion to rural development of electricity, which was built on federal loans provided by the Rural Electrification Act of 1936. Quote, it's so important for us in terms of economic development, Doherty said, and that's what we're shooting for, to come into the 21st century and get to the point of there's no excuse why you could not set up a business here that is primarily based on the internet, but right now you can't do it. We want to see in the near future, come here, you can get to anywhere you want to in the world from right here in Cortez, end quote. Gillow-Miles works with local governments to solve regional problems such as the expansion of reliable broadband. She said towns face 3 major obstacles that inhibit internet expansion: low population density, distance between communities, and topography, especially mountains. The obstacles make fiber projects costly for towns and companies, she said, because low population cannot produce a return on investment or incentive to become a sole internet service provider. Gillow-Miles helped Cortez officials bring in state funding matched by local funding. The city used its funds for the fiber optic project, which expanded on existing infrastructure because Colorado Senate Bill 152 prohibits local governments from participating in public-private partnerships to purchase connectivity. On Wednesday, December 5th, Cortez took a step forward in creating a private-public partnership. The city released a request for proposals seeking a private company to partner with the city on financing, designing, installing, operating, and maintaining the fiber network, or any combination of those responsibilities. General Services Director Rick Smith said the private company could help the city install the fiber network faster and cheaper, possibly without the need for a sales tax. The decision, as a city survey found that an overwhelming amount of Cortez residents supported a sales tax to finance the fiber optic installation program, which was draining hundreds of thousands of dollars a year from city funds. Survey results revealed that 64% of respondents said they would support a temporary sales tax, and 18% would support a tax if it meant lower prices and better service. Quote, we got to the point in my viewing that it's not paying back its debt, and we have not done a good job of marketing the broadband around the communities where it is available, Doherty said. Gillow-Miles said CenturyLink's market dominance doesn't allow for innovation because it excludes competition from local providers who might know the community and its needs better.
According to the Cortez Journal, a man who allegedly broke into a Cortez home and left his Colorado ID on the front windowsill in October was sentenced Thursday to 1 year with the Colorado Department of Corrections. In 22nd Judicial Court, before Judge Douglas Walker, Deputy District Attorney Sheena Goldsboro said Roscoe A. Hampson, age 30, no current address, has a criminal history dating to 2003. In October 2014, Hampson allegedly stole a 2005 Ford Explorer, a 2003 Dodge Ram, and a 2006 Mazda 6 from Sunshine Motors on Main Street, and a 2013 Ford Explorer from a resident. He was apprehended while attempting to steal a 1982 tanker truck from the Montezuma County Road Department and later sentenced to 3 years in prison for violating probation in connection to the auto thefts. The new charges of first-degree criminal trespass and criminal mischief stem from an incident on October 20th. According to a Cortez Police Department incident report, a woman reported that someone had broken into a home on the 800 block of Ridge Drive overnight. She said she was at the home the previous night about 9 p.m. and the door was boarded up. When she returned the next morning at 8:30 a.m., the plywood had been kicked in, a McDonald's food bag was in the front yard, and Hampson's ID was on the windowsill. Walker said he has information suggesting that a lot of people have stayed at the home on Ridge Drive. He said Matthew's mother took over the house and Matthews now lives with his mother. On Thursday, Hampson pleaded guilty to first-degree criminal trespass, a Class 5 felony. A charge of criminal mischief was dismissed. And now let's take a look at the weather.
The National Weather Map shows the snow and rain mix lingering over the upper Great Lakes area and still prevalent over parts of the southeast. Numerous locations measured over a foot of snow across portions of North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. The hardest hit areas were in the mountains and foothills of North Carolina and Virginia, with high snowfall totals even making it towards Raleigh, North Carolina, and into Richmond, Virginia. More snow is possible over the northern Rockies, and rains and snow mix back into the Pacific Northwest and part of northern California. Otherwise, the high pressure systems are keeping the rest of the country dry and mostly clear for now. Our regional hazardous outlook shows local fog and low clouds will persist until mid-morning near Durango and Moab. Elsewhere, expect dry, warmer conditions. Tuesday to Wednesday, there will be a slight chance for snow showers moving in across northeast Utah and northwest and central Colorado Tuesday morning and afternoon. Wednesday and Wednesday night, a storm moving in from the northwest will bring a chance of snow to that area again, especially the northern and central mountains. Thursday and Friday will be drier, then a weak storm will bring a slight chance of mountain snow showers on Saturday. So not much going on in our region in the Four Corners, which brings us to the DCTV local 5-day outlook. Today, increasing clouds with a high near 36 degrees, west-northwest winds around 5 miles an hour, becoming south in the morning. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low to 23, southeast winds around 5 miles an hour. Tuesday, partly sunny with a high near 42 degrees, south-southeast winds around 5 miles an hour, becoming west-northwest in the afternoon. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a high to 21 degrees, north winds around 5 miles an hour, becoming southeast after midnight. Then Wednesday, again mostly sunny with a high near 38, south-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming west-northwest 10 to 15 miles an hour in the afternoon. That's Wednesday afternoon, getting breezy with the nighttime being partly cloudy and a low to 15 degrees. Then Thursday, sunny with a high near just 33 degrees. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low to 16 degrees. Friday, sunny with a high near 39. Friday night, mostly cloudy with a low to 21 degrees. Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 40 degrees. And Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 19. And now, back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, 2 drivers involved in crashes on Friday night that injured Olga Snowberger, wife of Durango School Superintendent Dan Snowberger, have been cited by the Colorado State Patrol. Trooper Jeff Chmielewski said Lewis Norton, age 81, of Bayfield, was cited for careless driving, causing bodily injury. A 17-year-old boy from Silverton was charged with violating restrictions on an instruction permit, careless driving, and failure to present proof of insurance. About 10:30 p.m., the Snowbergers stopped their Jeep SUV at mile marker 92 on U.S. Highway 160, about 1 mile east of Elmore's Corner. They were behind a vehicle that stopped to allow someone to clear a deer from the highway. The juvenile in the Honda then rear-ended the Snowbergers' Jeep SUV. Norton's Buick then came from behind and sideswiped both the Honda and the Jeep. Olga Snowberger, who was outside the Jeep, was hit by one of the vehicles, but Chmielewski was unsure if the Buick, Honda, or Jeep hit her. It is possible one of the 2 stopped cars was nudged by the Buick, which then hit her, the trooper said. Olga Snowberger suffered multiple pelvis fractures and severe bruising and was flown to St. Anthony's Hospital in Lakewood for medical care. Dan Snowberger has taken an extended medical leave from the school district to help his wife recover. 9R Superintendent Andrew Burns will temporarily lead the district until Snowberger's return.
From the Journal, photos Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Coalition. A gas well in Canyons of the Ancients National Monument in October spilled about 3,150 gallons of wastewater onto the ground, according to the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. The well, operated by Lind Inc., is north of Montezuma County Road G and east of Sand Canyon. It operates under a lease with the Bureau of Land Management. A cleanup operation has removed the majority of the contaminated soils impacted by the spill, said Chris Crasson, Assistant Field Manager of Mineral Lands for the Tres Rios District of the Bureau of Land Management. Quote, the company notified officials right away of the spill and have been cooperative, he said. The cleanup has gone well. It was mostly saline water. Monument manager Marietta Eaton said there was no threat to the public and no designated trails were in the area of the well and spill. Because the company is in good standing and has complied with reporting and cleanup procedures, no fines were issued, officials said. Produced water is a saline byproduct of natural gas wells drawn up from thousands of feet underground during the drilling process. It is separated from the gas and stored in tanks next to the well. According to the commission spill report, workers vented the produced water from the gas well to the holding tank October 18th at 11 a.m., but when workers returned October 19th at 3 p.m., they discovered a dump valve had failed to close during the venting, known as a blowdown. The tank for the produced water then overflowed, breached secondary containment, and flowed off the premises, according to the report. Workers closed the valve and the flow stopped immediately. Remaining water in tanks and secondary containment was vacuumed out and trucked off. It was estimated that 3,150 gallons or 75 barrels of produced water spilled. A barrel holds 42 gallons. The spill flowed down a dry drainage and some went over a sandstone cliff into a steep canyon before stopping. Because of the rugged terrain, the contaminated soil is being removed by hand from the drainage and lifted out in 5-gallon buckets. Krasson said officials were considering using pack animals such as mules or horse to haul remaining contaminated soil from the less accessible area below the cliff. Contaminated soil is stockpiled and then shipped to an authorized disposal site. Additional remediation and inspections are planned, and the final cleanup in the rugged canyon will take place as weather permits. That well has resumed operation, according to the Colorado Oil and Gas Conservation Commission. Lind Inc. did not respond Friday to the Journal's request for comment.
According to the Durango Herald, this is the time of year businesswoman Janet Jordan dreads: open enrollment on the individual and small group health insurance markets and the inevitability of rising prices on Colorado's affordable health care insurance exchange. Jordan is co-founder of Heartwood Custom Woodworks, a custom flooring and cabinetry company in Eagle, which she and her husband Carl founded in 1992. It employs about 15 people, and Jordan says she has to offer some sort of insurance subsidy to find and retain workers in an increasingly tight labor market. But Heartwood can afford to pay only half its employees' insurance and nothing for their families. Self-employed individuals and small businesses in Colorado and across the country have borne the brunt of rampant health insurance cost increases since the Federal Affordable Care Act kicked in fully in 2014. Republican attempts to repeal and replace the ACA failed in 2017, and critics say the GOP has since worked to undermine the law and with encouragement from President Donald Trump. Now Democrats, buoyed by the 2018 midterm election results, have promised to stabilize the ACA and expand Medicaid. But that's all a lot of noise in Eagle and across much of rural Colorado, where there are typically only 1 or 2 ACA coverage options, and plans for a family of 5 can run north of $2,000 a month. In mountain resort counties, where everything from groceries to gas to housing costs significantly more than along the urban front range, it can be difficult for a family of 5 to live on $117,680, which is the income cap, $48,560 for individuals, to qualify for ACA tax credits that help subsidize insurance.
From Patch.com, image Shutterstock. Denver's mayor announced Tuesday last week that 10,000 low-level marijuana convictions that occurred between 2001 and 2013, before marijuana was legalized in Colorado, are eligible to be expunged. Quote, "For too long, the lives of low-income residents and those living in our communities of color have been negatively affected by low-level marijuana convictions," Mayor Michael Hancock said in his announcement. Quote, "This is an injustice that needs to be corrected, and we are going to provide a pathway to move on from an era of marijuana prohibition that has impacted the lives of thousands of people," end quote. The announcement is part of a citywide effort to recognize the long-term harm done to communities disproportionately impacted by the, quote, "war on drugs," Hancock said. The city reviewed the plan with the Office of Marijuana Policy and the city attorney's office. The agencies are working with the district attorney, Denver County courts, and stakeholders to develop a process for expunging records, the mayor's office said in a statement. In June, at the meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, Hancock signed a resolution calling for cities to vacate certain marijuana misdemeanors. Hancock has also proposed a, quote, multi-pronged approach to ensuring that communities who have been disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs can benefit from the legalization of marijuana, the city said in a statement. Facts released by the mayor's office last week about Denver's marijuana industry. The marijuana market in Denver is prospering, with marijuana tax revenue making up 3.41% of Denver's overall revenue in 2017. That figure is projected to rise to approximately 3.6% in 2018, and an estimated 3,250 jobs in Denver were a direct result of the marijuana industry, with another 6,000 estimated jobs resulting from secondary impacts such as related retail and service activities, about 2% of the 520,000 jobs in Denver. Quote, "We need to better understand the obstacles, business conditions, and regulatory hurdles preventing individuals from seeking employment or business ownership in the cannabis industry," end quote, Hancock said. "We believe in equal opportunity for all, and that includes those working in the cannabis industry."
According to the Durango Journal, with a photo from the AP file, Navajo Technical University, based in Crown Point, New Mexico, has been awarded a $3.5 million grant from the National Science Foundation to establish a Center for Advanced Manufacturing. The department will have an emphasis on 3D modeling and simulation, polymer and metal additive manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, post-processing techniques, materials testing, and metrology, according to the university news release. The goal for the center is to provide opportunities for students so they can learn and gain experience in a working environment, said H. Scott Halliday, director of NTU's Center for Digital Technologies. The center will provide enhanced technical education and workforce training, foster research, and stimulate economic development. The NSF funding will also help the university develop new certificate, Associate of Applied Science degree, and 4-year degree in mechanical engineering. Halliday said he expects the new department will appeal to visiting researchers and foster academic partnerships with the university. Several universities have already made a commitment to collaborate with NTU, including Colorado School of Mines, University of New Mexico Indigenous Design and Planning Institute, Utah's Multiscale Mechanics and Materials Laboratory, University of Nebraska's Mechanical and Materials Laboratory, and Montana Technological University.
And today's High Canyon Country happenings. Rotary Club's annual Christmas party, open to all Rotary members, their significant others, and anyone interested in becoming a Rotarian, is Tuesday, December 11th. The doors open at 6 p.m. for hors d'oeuvres. Bring your own cocktails or other alcoholic beverages, and dinner begins at 6:30 p.m. The Dolores Christian Child Care also has a drop-off bin for their 12th annual Dolores Christmas Drive at the Ponderosa. They are looking for unwrapped toys, books, and clothes for children aged 1 to 12. If you know of a Dolores family that needs some help with gifts for their kids this Christmas, please contact Debbie at 970-882-2446. And Monticello Tree Festival is being held on December 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Veterans Memorial Park. Hot chocolate, baked goods, beautiful trees, and more. Trees set up on Friday and Saturday by 2 p.m. Contact Jeremy at 435-459-0271 to register, or email Jeremy at monticelloutah.org. It's hosted by the San Juan Chamber of Commerce. Also December 15th in Cortez, the local holiday pop-up shop at the Cortez Cultural Center will run from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Join the Cortez Cultural Center to shop for gifts directly from local artisans, kids' clothes, prints and paintings, jewelry, and more. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with our YouTube replays, weather, original stories, and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. The email is dcbnnews@gmail.com, or call the station 970-677-4119.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Thursday, and then is available online on our YouTube channel and our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page on demand.
Be sure to like us there on Facebook and join in on the news of our area. And of course, please share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.